Good morning, everyone. This session is all about the budget 2025, which was presented yesterday in the parliament. There are some of the interesting questions which were asked by some of the fellow, and in fact, it came to my mind as well. So, what I have done basically, I have compiled total 11 interesting observation or the fact from the budget, Union Budget 2025 to 2026. The first thing very quickly, which is quite obvious, which may come to your mind basically, when the income tax was decreased, that is up to 12 lakh, then how did the overall size of the budget reach to the 50 lakh crore, that highest ever? Like last year the budget size was 48 lakh crore, this year the budget is around 50.5 lakh crore. So one hand, the taxes has decreased, particularly for the middle class. Second hand, despite the decrease in the taxes, how come the overall size of the budget has crossed the 50 lakh crore? Okay, to answer this question quickly, one should keep in mind, yes, previous year compared to 2023, there was increase of approx 8 to 9% in the overall size of the budget. Here, the size of the budget is referred to the total amount which is required to run a country in a financial year. Okay, this year if you look at 48 to 50.5, which is coming approx 5% increase. So of course, last year it was 9% increase, this year 5%. So there is increase, but not exactly same what we expected in the previous year. The second aspect that. Now out of this 50.5 lakh crore, there are two types of expenses, there are two types of expenditure the government of India is going to incur. That also you need to understand. One is the revenue expenditure, second one is the capital expenditure. The revenue expenditure will be 39 lakh crore from the out of 50 lakh crore. Revenue expenditures are those expenditures which has been expended for the day-to-day expenses. And the second one is the remaining 11 lakh is the capital expenditure. Capital expenditure is being expended for the purpose of acquiring or buying a long-term assets. This you can understand very easily, like difference between the revenue and capital expenditure is. See, for example, you have spent it at 20,000 in a month. On 20,000, from the 20,000, what you have done, you have bought a cell phone of rupees 12,000. Another 8,000 you spend it on grocery item. Now the money is spent on the grocery item is not going to give you benefit next 2, 3, 4 years, because it's kind of day-to-day expenses. That is what exactly you can call it the revenue expenditure. Whereas the amount is spent on buying laptop or cell phone or maybe AC or freeze, that will give you benefit for more than 1 year. So here the capital expenditure out of 50 lakh, 11 lakh which will be expended, that is for the longer period. Now, though the government of India has said very clearly over more than 1 crore taxpayer will pay zero taxes, still our total size of the budget has reached 50 lakh crore, which is 5% increase compared to the previous year. And that's quite obvious also, because there will be expenses, there will be inflation, and there are other aspects which need to be understood. Yes, the income tax, direct tax has decreased, but look at the last year, short-term capital gain, long-term capital gain was increased. So definitely that will also add on to that. Now the second question. So hope you understood why this 5% increase despite the decrease in the income tax. There are some other taxes which is remain same. So of course those taxes will definitely add on. And another thing is that the number of taxpayer will also increase. Second question. Can you please tell me the total number of taxpayer in India? This question very often we ask in the discussion. Let me tell you very clearly. The entire population of our country is a taxpayer, whether it is he or she is a kid or senior citizen, in fact, or whether he or she belongs from the city or villages or urban, semi-urban area, it doesn't matter. Right from the birth to the tuition fee, to the last breath, we all pay the taxes that may not be the direct tax, but certainly the indirect taxes in the form of GST, in the form of VAT, in the form of other taxes basically. So yes, the question is that how many taxpayer entire population basically. In fact, in the last breath, a baby born in a hospital, you are supposed to pay GST on that, on the medical fee, on the hospital bill. A person who died or a person who is hospitalized at the age of 70, 80, and if he or she died, again you have to pay along with that. If you are buying anything to cremate, on that also you are supposed to pay the taxes. So everyone is. Now the question might be, this can be reframe question. He said, can you tell me how many individuals are paying direct income tax, then probably this question can be justified. So yes, as per the income tax return in 2024 assessment year, approx 8.6 crore income tax was filed, and this year the government is expecting around more than 9 crore taxpayer who will be filing the income tax return. So precisely you can answer it, yes, for income tax it's more than 9 crore. And when any simple question comes, total number of taxpayers, of course we all are the taxpayer, even if 2 years 3 years baby or kids right from the birth to the senior citizen till the last breath, we all are the taxpayer. Okay, now the third question is that when the 12 lakh up to 12 lakh income is nil, then why does the IT slab shows 0 to 5 nil? Why not 0 to 12 nil basically? See, if now everyone knows up to 12 lakh, it means 0 to 12 your income tax is going to be nil. But if you look at the IT slab, you will see 0 to 4 is the nil, 4 to 8 is the 5%. This is how exactly. So look at here, there is in Income Tax Act 1961, there is some rebate. So the government of India tax slab is 0 to 4 is only nil, not 0 to 12. But as per Income Tax 1961, rebate under the section 87 is given to all the income tax individual payer up to 12 lakh. So it is 0 to 4 is the nil, but because of the rebate given under 87 section 87A under income tax, which says up to 12 lakh, you will not be liable to pay the taxes under income tax. Second is that in addition to the rebate, there is a standard deduction of 75,000 was announced, which comes under the section 16. So that's why 0 to 12, no, not at all. It's nowhere mentioned 0 to 12 is the nil, but yes, it's mentioned 0 to 4 is the nil. Reason behind 0 to 4, and if your income increases exceeded more than 12 lakh, then 0 to 4 nil, 4 to 8, 5%, 10%, 15%, that will be charged. So that is how. So nowhere you will see 0 to 12 is the nil for the income tax. The fourth question, what happened to the old tax regime where more than 50-60 deduction allowances were applicable? The answer is so simple, there is no change. There was no discussion, but still you can opt. Yes, there were more than 50-60 deduction and allowances were there in the old tax regime. There is no changes from the last 5, 6, 7 year. There is no discussion and there is no still, but still you can opt. The next question, is there any change in the other taxes other than income tax? We all know there is a change in the income tax. Up to 12 lakh you are not supposed to pay the taxes to the government. But is there any other taxes where the changes has taken place? First I will say old regime, no changes. GST, very negligible changes, that is related to the process of the GST, not the tax rate. VAT, where we pay around 40 to 50% taxes in the name of VAT when we buy the petrol and diesel, there is no changes. Long-term capital gain, short-term capital gain, security transaction tax, there's no changes at all. Okay, the next it comes, yes, there is some changes in the custom duty, tariff rate, import duty and export duty. There are some changes. That's why you might have heard probably the cell phone, the cost of the selling price or maybe the cost of the cell phone will decrease. This is because of this tariff rate and import and export duty, changes in the export and import duty. The next one is the question is there anything, this is very frequently the question is asked those who are living out of the country basically. Is there anything for the NRI in this budget 2025? How the NRI will be taxed? So the answer for this is that, see, as far as the tax is concerned to the NRI, there was nothing in this budget, no changes has been made, but something which they have indicated, like if you are living in India out of 12 months, 3 months if you are living in the country, then more than 3 months if you are living in this country, then your sources income generated in India will be taxed basically, and perhaps you have to file the RTI also, which was earlier 6 months, now 3 months. So if you are coming back to the India, staying more than 3 months, earning something, then you will be taxed. You will know we consider under the NRI category basically. Okay, there are some other changes also, like disclosure on overseas earning. Whatever you are earning there, that has to be disclosed. Investment, whatever investment you have made, the bank account, and then if you are putting any inaccurate reporting which will lead to the penalty or legal action under anti-tax evasion law. Or further, sending money to the India for family support, investment or saving might face strict tax scrutiny. So these are the changes for the NRI. The next question, what was the budget? Was this budget politically motivated? This is a very often question people ask. Is there anything for the state where the election is approaching? The answer is yes. As we all know, in this year, in the month of November, there will be election in the Bihar, assembly election in the Bihar, and very proudly, very loudly, the government has announced few schemes in the Bihar. Of course, we can correlate it. Okay, it is up to you. Okay, further. So Makhana board will be established, food processing zone will be established, and Western Koshi Canal project for the irrigation purposes will be developed. New airport and expansion will be there, and IIT Patna will also be expanded, and there will be new institute. It's called National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management will be established. So these are the packages which has been given to the Bihar, keeping in mind the assembly election which is expected in the month of November this year. Now coming to the next question, why did the share market not respond well yesterday? Though the salaried class will get the more amount in their hand to spend because they will be taxed less, still the market has not responded well. What are the possible reasons? There is various reasons for that. Of course, the market, as we all know, the share market, now the entire world has become globalized actually, and the boundary which we have, these are the political boundary, and we the finance student, economics student, we assume entire world is a single world, and these boundaries between one country to another country, for a finance guy, these are the political boundary, geographical boundary, because by just sitting here you are able to order the cell phone which is being somewhere manufactured in the Europe, US, China. It takes hardly 2 to 3 days. By just sitting here you can sell your goods in the European country. By just sitting here you can buy the share and debenture of the somewhere issued in the European country. In the same way they can also invest in India. So that's why the entire world is globalized, particularly for the economics and finance. Okay, so the share market, it does not totally depend on Indian investor. It also depends on the FIIs, foreign institutional investor. So it's globally, basically it depends on many more things. If the crude oil prices increase, if that Fed interest rate increases and decreases, if there is a war, if there is some other issue that also impacted, if the FII is withdrawing, the foreign institutional investors are withdrawing money from the Indian share market, then definitely that will also be the share market will decrease. The Nifty and Sensex will go on down basically. But the other aspect of that, to why the yesterday actually. Then if you look at, in old regime there was some benefit, particularly related to the tax saving. Like there is a compulsory, if you want to get certain deduction and exemption from the tax, there was ELSS mutual fund, equity linked mutual fund basically, SIP also, FD, LIC. So you might be aware, in old regime, if you are investing money up to 1,50,000, then as per ATC, that investment will be deducted from the total annual income, and remaining income will be calculated for the purpose of the income tax. So these were the 4 savings which we were putting into the mutual fund, LIC, SIP and FD, and that actually money goes to the company, for the further increase. So that is also one aspect maybe that why the market has not responded well. The another logic reason, it could be like the real estate. Look at what happened in the real estate. Earlier, if you look at the interest rate on home loan, it was 5 to 6%. Then gradually it has increases 9%, 8%, 9%, 10% basically. Now, at the same time, if anyone has bought home or any flat on their EMI, then some part of the EMI, which we call it the principal, and some part the interest, these amount can also be claimed for the purpose of tax deduction basically. But that is only applicable in the old tax regime. So of course nothing was said about the old tax regime. So definitely those who are willing to buy that, maybe the flat or any other house or home on loan, probably they will be discouraged. Hence the real estate sector will also go down. Further, there was expectation related to the long-term capital gain, short-term capital gain, and then STD, security transaction taxes, but these were not there was no any change. So that probably will also impact the share market actually, because see, whatever you are earning, on that earning, if someone is asking for 20%, the 20% taxes, then possibly you will be discouraged basically. The more long-term, short-term and transaction charges will be there, the lesser people will be inclined toward the investment in the share market actually. Now coming to the second last question, could you please elaborate on the sector-wise impact of the budget on the stock market? Yeah, this need a very long discussion, but quickly I can say, yeah, FMCG was good because there is a huge investment on that. People will be getting more money in their hand, and definitely the first thing which comes is the FMCG to spend on that. It may be automobile also because of the EV car, decrease in the tariff electronic item also. Then insurance, earlier on the insurance there was FDI, foreign direct investment was only 74%, now it is being allowed to 100%. So insurance sector, health sector because of the medical tourism, agriculture sector because of the KCC, Kisan Credit Card, which has the limit of the loan has increased from 3 lakh to 5 lakh. Okay, looking at the downside of the sector is that railway there was nothing much announced, defense, infrastructure including real estate, these are the three sector which probably may not respond well because of this the budget. Okay, now coming to the last question. Top 3 sector where the government will spend a considerable amount of the budget 2025. So that also you should know. Let's assume the total budget size is 100 rupees. Out of 100 rupees, around 13.5 rupees will be spent on defense. That is the largest actually. Out of 100 rupees, around 6 rupees will be spent on road, transport and highway basically. Out of 100 rupees, another 5 rupees will be spent on railway. And around 4% will be spent on food and public distribution. You might be aware about that. A huge number of population is actually getting the 5 kg of rices from the government in the name of food security. So this also you can call it second or third largest allocation in terms of the ministry wise. You can see it, the food and public distribution sector actually, consumable food and public distribution. So these are the top sector where the government is going to spend a huge amount. Next question arises, what about the education? How much on education we are going to spend? That is also there, but probably not much specific amount we can call it, because there is a education on farming, education on IT, education for higher education, and the budget for the secondary education, primary education, that is a different. So that right now probably it will be difficult. Now ending with this, the last question which I am ending with this is that what if someone has taken a home loan? Will there still be old tax regime benefit for them? If someone has taken a home loan, and as we know the EMI of the home loan actually divided into 2 parts, one is the principal amount, second one is the interest, and both principal amount as well as interest limit with a certain cap, maximum cap, are exempted in the old tax regime. So the question is that if someone has taken a home loan, will there still be old tax regime benefit for them? For this question, there is a need for the calculation. There is a need for the a thorough comparison and calculation, which probably some other time I will try to calculate and let you know. With this right now, thank you so much. Thanks a lot. I was just trying to actually discuss some interesting observation or fact or the important question which is related to the budget, specifically budget 2025 to 26. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for being with me.